Yo, welcome back to VLR with Justin and Ulan. So, we have finally finished waiting, and let's hear what Fi has to say.
I just realized something.
Uh-huh?
When we were looking at the security footage earlier, we were just looking for live feeds.
Yes, but they
We
could
were
have
trying
been
to figure out
pre-recorded.
where the others are, what they were up to, if they were alive, and so on. But we totally forgot that security systems like this can do more than show you live footage. Are you
Yes.
following me?
Yes, it could have been pre-recorded, but what's your point, really? If they store that, we might be able to see it.
Don't know how
that's
much
what you're
luck we'll
getting at.
have, but it's worth a shot.
Well, yeah, but dude, we didn't see a control panel that would give us access to the pre-recorded stuff.
Leave that to me.
Okay, fine, leave it to her.
Well, it was designed so that a human could operate it.
So that a trained professional could
That
operate
means there's a
it, or
logic
whatever.
to how it's set. A computer computes, a calculator calculates, and an automobile mobiles. Everything's designed to do something, and once you know what, you can start guessing how.
You can actually start guessing
Once you start
regardless,
to figure
but
out
whatever.
how to get it to do things, it's just a question of playing with it until it does the things you want it to.
Unless it was designed to lock you out after too many incorrect attempts, Fi.
See?
Which professional things usually are. But whatever. Monitoring video data, looks like this is it. Good
Knock
work.
it off. Makes it sound like you're better than me. Or...
What does it mean, no data? Everything says no data.
Let's check the log. Damn it. This isn't good. Looks like all the video data was removed before we got here.
Before we got here at all, or just before we entered the room?
That would be my guess. All it says here is administrator.
So 03, the junior, that is, the computer mainframe.
Yeah, it might have given us what we need to figure out who the killer is, too.
Which is undoubtedly why it was
in room
erased.
2 in the crew quarters
Although
would have
then,
recorded what happened to
why
Alice and
record it
Luna.
at this location at all anyway?
Same for the old woman in the warehouse.
Yep.
And if there was a recording of us being carried into the AB rooms, we could have even figured out who Zero Senior
Who's
is.
doing the carrying, indeed.
You
Hey,
want to
what's
open
this?
it?
Yeah. Some
It
file.
says Golem's status.
Yeah, that should be the system logs of those robots. Told you about them in the pantry.
Yeah.
Oh, right,
In
yeah,
the
I
room
guess she
full of
wasn't with us.
robots on the other side of the green door.
Yeah. In fact, now, the only people who were with me at that time are dead.
Here we go.
Shoot. Nope. Inactive. Including... Oh, goodness, I don't remember which one of these IDs would have been the one that we talked with.
Looks like it. What
Next
is it?
second. Maybe he remembers. There's a scroll bar. Oh, yeah, so try scrolling. Date of available. Yeah, GOLM. I'm pretty sure that was the guy that we talked with. So wait, he is active? I thought he got turned off. The golem we met is still
What do you
functional.
mean? I thought you told me Golem or whatever his name
Spinning
was.
smoke and keeled over. Yeah, he appeared to, but he said that what passed for Golem's brain was in the main computer. Only his body was disabled. His body is probably still functioning. Or his brain is probably still functioning.
Already
interesting.
on.
So yeah. Weird that it wouldn't have just shut
Here you
off
are.
him as well, but whatever. Try the one that says cache. Oh yeah, that's totally helpful. These file names seem like random characters, or like IP addresses or something. Just pick one and open it, I
Sure.
guess.
This is...
Fi's there, so this is recorded from some point. Not sure who's next to her. Yeah, that's what I thought. This is probably from right after Kay decked us. Oh, okay. We'll be tossed into that white door on the left in a minute. Just watch. Watch. Yeah, still images, whatever. See?
interesting. This is the footage the Golem pulled from the main server. The original data was deleted, but it looks like the stuff he pulled is still here.
Exactly.
So, if we go back through these
So
files...
why was he looking at this stuff? And why didn't Zero Jr. notice that? Why didn't Zero Jr. shut him down when he shut his body down? It's just weird. I figure out who Zero Senior is.
Nice. Great work, Sigma.
Come on, I told you don't need you kissing my ass. Besides, it's not like I really did anything. Yeah, just told you to open what you were probably going to eventually get to opening anyhow. Start going through. Security showed K and Dio clearly passing through the white door on the far right.
Good.
So did he only start monitoring
Looks
at
like
that
they're
point?
both fine.
Which leaves Tenhyuji, Clover, and Quark. Then it happened. Okay, this is new. My vision suddenly blurred, and shaking my head did nothing to clear it. I staggered, my balance gone. Well, this isn't good. This is probably the... I beg your pardon. Why is she talking like that? Well, thank you, Alvin. She sounds like someone's playing a tape of her voice all sped up. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the Radical 6, which isn't good if it's already getting to me, because it's never gotten to me before. And why is she moving so fast? It's like watching a video on fast forward. Yeah, I think he's about to collapse, maybe. Just looks like everything is speeding up. I still couldn't make out what she was saying, so I just nodded weakly. My eyes drifted shut as I tried to sort out what was happening to me. Well, that's not good. You better get restrained pretty quick, or else you're gonna start going for suicide. Woke up several minutes later. Well, it's not doing the weird effect on the screen, but he's still got a very limited time left if it's starting to already feel symptoms like that. Opened my eyes, first thing I saw was the ceiling of the security office. I sat up slowly, rubbing tenderly at my head. Fi had been sitting in front of one of the monitors, stood up and walked over as soon as she heard me move. Sounds like everything...
You okay?
Yep, alright, well, we can hear people again. Her voice sounded normal again. She wasn't moving strangely either. Whatever had been happening seemed to have stopped. Let out a quiet sigh of relief. Yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry about it.
You sure?
Yeah, worry about it. But I guess... Yeah, I don't think we even we've even encountered the name of Radical 6 in this one yet. So I don't think that Sigma has any idea
That's
about
good.
what it was this time.
You really looked like you'd lost it for a minute there.
He has. And he'll be trying to kill himself pretty soon if we don't make a move. Seem to have found it again. This is security office. Maybe they got
Your
lost and
sanity
found.
is pretty easy to
Okay.
miss. I'm surprised. Well, looks like I don't have anything to worry about.
Yeah, so what was on the rest of the things? Kind of surprised it didn't catch up to me
I hope
sooner.
that's all it is. You haven't caught a
so
disease
this
or
is trying
something,
to
have
remind
you?
us, the player, of what it is. Oh, wait, no. Have they... For just a moment, I thought of Radical 6, so they did encounter that during this route. But I didn't want to worry Fi if I didn't have to. Better stay quiet about it.
Well,
Alright,
you're
whatever
looking
then.
a lot better, so I can stop worrying.
Yes, so can you
Right?
tell me what you found on the other files? What are you,
Fine.
my mom?
No more check-ins. Anyway, I figured something out while you were resting.
Alright, figured something out. Doesn't sound like you looked through the rest
Come
of
have
the
a
files.
look at this.
Mm-hmm. 2. Okay, this is the one where the bomb gets put.
Footage from room 2 in the crew
Wait!
quarters. The room where we found Alice and Luna.
You find Alice and Luna in the room on that side of the hallway? I've gotten those all completely confused, because I'm almost dead certain that with the bed in that position is where you find the bomb. And I've been under the impression this whole time that over there across the hall the room across the hall there, was where we found Luna and Alice every time. So, now
I
I'm
dug it
just
out
very
of Gollum's
confused.
cache.
So no, it seems like maybe
See you
he's
in a
been
minute.
recording it, like, almost the whole time. Some sort of time
Can you
code.
figure it out?
We can't read. Bunch of numbers, can't make
Yeah,
heads or tails.
the central server seems to be using its own time system. Files appear to be named based on that system. They might as well be random to you and me, which made it pretty hard to find this gem.
Did you find it, or were you just opening? Oh, hey, look. Alright, okay.
Yeah.
Looks at his bracelet here. Probably checking how much
I'll
time is
just
left.
pause that and magnify it.
Because of course that's something you could do. So at 21 minutes, so that means this footage is from 21 minutes before the primary doors open.
Exactly.
And that would have been the white doors in this
Yes.
case.
After Kay leaves this room, it's about 2 minutes before he comes back with you and me.
Which he said that he had only done after doing CPR for quite a while on Alice. Or Luna, I can't remember exactly which at this point now. No, yeah, Luna is who he tried CPR on, I think. 20 minutes on the clock when we met up with him, right? So that means what we're seeing here is K 1 minute before he
Right.
saw us. This is right after, yeah, he tried to resuscitate
Yeah,
Luna.
if you believe. The footage here doesn't show any of that.
Well, only because it doesn't show anyone there at all.
I looked around, but the only stuff left is shot from this position.
What's
Even
your point?
so, I think we've gotten our hands on something important.
How? All it does is confirm what he had already said so far. You mean that this is a record of what happened right around the time of Luna's death? Well, no, because he'd been according to his own testimony, he tried to resuscitate her for like 10 minutes. So this is about 10 minutes after the death actually
Exactly.
happened.
Are you ready?
Well,
Okay,
yeah, all
let's
right,
keep
so
going.
don't you
I'll move
mean-
back to the start of this
Yeah, I
file
was
so we
gonna
can
say,
see it in chronological
rewind
order.
it a while.
Let's say this is 0 hours, 0 minutes. After
Sure.
all, it's not like we know what time it actually is.
Although if we know from that point, whatever.
So,
Yeah, so this is presumably before Luna even
Yeah.
arrives.
about a minute goes by before anyone
Wait, how do you know it's been a minute?
This.
Oh, that's the hourglass we used earlier.
Yeah, if I play it back at normal speed, I can measure time using this hourglass. Then I just add the time from the hourglass,
Sure, well, don't
and
we
that's how
still have
far
our-
in we are.
Timers on that until the next day B room, in which case start it right when it ticks to a minute and then whatever. We already have our own timekeepers. It's just not normal. Alright, so Luna and Alice, or Clover rather, that's not
Yeah.
necessarily good.
This is 0 hours, 1 minute. Right now you and I are talking to Dio in the Floor B warehouse.
Searching for Quark at that point, I
With the
think.
time frame
Yeah,
we've
I think everyone's searching
established,
for Quark at this point.
calculating what we're doing is pretty easy.
Sure. Arguing, it looks like. Looks like Clover's just going off on Luna, yeah. Luna's just staying silent and listening
Yeah.
to her. Can we hear them? Is there an
Want to
audio
listen
track?
to it?
Oh! What the
Don't
hell
know.
is this?
The
Alright,
audio
well,
data must have been transcoded into...
yeah, so unless we can flip it back, which we can't.
Seen enough.
Probably.
I'm going to fast forward a little bit.
Why?
Clover's
Just keep
interrogation
playing.
goes
Oh, it
on for a while.
Okay.
Now, at 0 hours
Things suddenly
here.
change. Nobody here. They're gone. Alright. So I watched Clover move steadily closer to Luna, backed away almost as if she were frightened, continued her advance till she disappeared below the bottom edge of the screen. Another... you said this was
Yeah, this is the only one that I found. Shouldn't be too hard to guess what happened after you've seen the next part, though.
Yeah. Clover left. Looked like she's kind of
Yeah,
panicking.
this is about 1 minute and 40 seconds after they both left the frame. So
Only Clover left. Luna's still in the room. That
Hold on. Wait until you've seen the whole thing before you
Okay.
start deducing. At 0 hours, 12 minutes.
just missing her. Dio. He's disappeared too. Did he plant the bomb? Down below? No, down below the bottom of the frame.
I don't know. But I'm pretty sure that whatever it was, he doesn't want us to
Yeah,
know
because
about
he gave
it.
us no indication that he had ever left the bottom warehouse.
Remember what he said when you asked him about Quark?
How the fuck would I know? I've been here.
Yeah, which he hasn't. He wasn't in the Floor B warehouse the whole time. He went to the crew quarters
Yeah,
after we left.
so what
him.
would have been important enough for him to lie about it? We should consider that it might have been something bad.
Might? And whatever it was, it happened during
Yeah,
this
I think
time.
so.
He either took something, but it looks like he left in a
Maybe
hurry.
he
But
heard a
it
noise.
shouldn't have been the watch, because I'm pretty sure that we collected the bracelet from her body.
The cyan door opening? Now, that brings us to 0.
K, presumably. Yeah, K, and when he heard K open the sign door, he panicked. Whatever he was up to, didn't want K to catch him at it.
And then K.
Below the bottom
If
of the
K
frame.
was telling the
and
truth,
starts
anyway.
to try to resuscitate.
Nothing happens. It's just
16,
so I'll fast
and
forward.
then he stands back up and
All
what he
right,
saw.
1 sec. Okay, you should see something you recognize in a minute here.
Yeah, him checking his watch again. Checking the time, seeing that he's like, oh shoot, I'm late, but I was trying to help, and well, now we're
Yeah.
gonna find out.
We're back to 21 for our arbitrary time code. That's 1
Yeah.
minute later at 0 hours 30.
It's, yep, to talk to us, and then we come in.
That's all the footage I want. I've looked at it, and I think it has something to tell us.
Who killed
Well,
Luna?
I can't say this footage
Yeah,
makes for,
obviously.
but it does suggest a very likely culprit. Who do you think it is?
I think it kind of suggests Clover. After all, if Clover just, like, pushed her or something, what was Dio doing? Why would Luna have stayed in the room that whole time until Dio showed up? But I mean, maybe. Ran over the footage in my head. Yeah, 0 hours 1 minute. Clover and Luna into the room. Aggressively questions Luna. They both move out of frame, and Luna never re-enters frame. Whereas Clover exits room, Dio enters, does something, but who knows, really. K enters frame, disappears, 16 of nothing. K enters, looks at his bracelet. Yep. Seems only one conclusion. Person who killed Luna is... interesting. They're wanting me to project... they think that there's any way that the other two would have just snuck in and talked to Luna this whole time and then K kills? Why is that even an option here? It's really only a question between these two. And while I really want to blame Dio, I think Clover's kind of the more likely culprit.
What makes you think so? Luna could still have been alive after Clover
yes,
left the
could.
room.
But I know that Clover's a little
Dio and Kay
crazy.
both went into the room after Clover. Either of them could have killed Luna too.
Only if it makes any sense that Luna would have remained out of frame by Alice after that argument for that entire time. And with Dio being all sketchy. That footage alone isn't enough to tell us who the killer is. I'm kind of hoping and assuming that that option ends up being a nothing thing. But if we take one thing into account, then the case... take one other thing into account, and the case against Clover gets a lot stronger.
What is that?
Dio's behavior at the White Doors. Kay wanted us to enter the White Doors. I told him I wouldn't leave 3 people to die. Do you remember what Dio said?
Use your fucking head for once. You're gonna get us killed.
He obviously knew that only you and I would be going through the door. Do you get it?
Yeah. He knew we had Luna's bracelet. Which means he also knew Luna was dead.
Which I guess we hadn't mentioned yet?
Is that what you're getting at?
Exactly. If he didn't know she was dead, he would never have said that. The moment Kay suggested we go through the doors, he would have brought it up. That's impossible. How are they supposed to get through without Luna? But he didn't even mention her. Like he didn't expect her to be there. Why would he do that? I can only think of 2 reasons. 1, that when Dio entered the room, Luna was already dead, or 2, he killed Luna himself. The second one doesn't seem likely, though. If Dio had killed Luna, probably he would have made a point to hide that. I'm guessing he probably would have asked where she was. Where's Luna? Sigma and Phi won't be able to get through the White Doors without her. He seems like the kind of guy who'd go out of his way to feign ignorance of a crime he committed. In this case, though, he said nothing. That doesn't clear him, of course, but it does make a lot less likely that he was the killer. If he wasn't the killer, and we're left with only, well, 2 other, considering we know about the suicidal tendencies of Radical 6.
When Dio entered the room, Luna was already dead.
And for some reason, he didn't take her bracelet sneakily. Whatever, I guess. I don't know.
Interesting.
It does still make no sense of what he was doing there.
That's pretty much what I thought too, and it does seem like Clover had a motive. Yes.
Whatever Alice noticed.
The movement of the AB rooms convinced Alice that Luna had killed the old woman. Once Clover realized that, she probably started to think that Luna had killed Alice to keep her from telling anyone else the truth.
Yep.
She probably led Luna to the crew quarters to confront her. Maybe she
And then
hoped
lost
seeing
her cool.
Alice's corpse would cause Luna to confess. Maybe she knew something we don't. But Clover didn't get what she wanted. Luna didn't confess. Then, during her interrogation, something happened. It's hard to say what. Luna might have said something that set Clover off, or maybe she admitted to a crime she didn't commit just to get Clover to stop. Whatever it was, something happened that drove Clover to murder.
Which, to be fair, we absolutely know from the first game is something that's in her. When did Clover get the injection
I
gun?
would guess after she went through the yellow door, she would have been exploring the infirmary with Alice and Kay. That seems the most likely place to find it. Anyway, this is all just a theory, right?
Very.
We don't have any proof, so...
Yeah, obviously. So, what now? Oh, there was one last thing. Was there any other footage that showed
No.
anything?
Nothing to tell us where Clover, Tenmyoji, and Quark went.
Curious. Though that does mean that time on the footage, seeing Clover there is the last time any of us have seen Clover. Which does update that at least we know she was alive, then.
And nothing about the old woman or Alice's murders either.
So Zero Senior's
Still
identity. Still unknown. Okay, well, let's go find Clover. Guess we're not going to know the truth unless we get it straight from the horse's mouth. If we can even find her. We've not found
I wonder
anyone
if
that went
Clover's even
missing this
alive.
far. Yeah. Especially with the door situation being what it is.
I sure hope so.
Yeah, because otherwise it's just Kay and Dio with us down here. And none of us trust Dio anymore any further than we can throw him. Alright, heading up. We should be getting close to the end of this route pretty soon. Just kind of keeps going and going and going. Alright, first floor. Then we're headed to the warehouse. Should really check our bracelets to see how much time for the next AB game. Alright, in the warehouse A. No one's here. Yep, well, as usual.
Yeah.
Well, no, not as usual, but as to be expected. Because what would have been as usual? If Kay and Dio had already gotten through their puzzle, you know that as he's been doing, Dio would have just bolted for one of these to get that started.
All right, let's start looking. We'll go through the crew quarters and work our way toward the elevator. Got it?
Yeah, presumably we checked through whichever route we came on our way in, so there's really only through the crew and then back one more time. See if anything's changed in here, I guess. Which, probably not. But who knows, we might find more bodies.
You search rooms 1 and 2.
Alright.
I'll take 3 and 4.
Looks empty. Let's see if that remains. Looks empty. But this time we actually entered it. Okay, so even though it looked empty, this time we stepped in and still. Alice and Luna. The most horrible thing about death is how it turns a person into a thing. It's a thing that looks just like your friend. But it's not them anymore, just this strange cold shell, and every time you look at it, you feel a little of that coldness creeping in around the edges of your soul. Seeing death puts a heavy ball of lead in your stomach that just sits there, poisoning you. I turned and left the room. Check under the bed for that bomb, just in case. Whatever.
No good. There's no one in 3 or 4. What about
Alright,
yours?
well, that kind of figures. Same, except Alice and Luna. Lead ball pressed against the inside of my abdomen. I leaned back against the wall and let out a long, weary sigh.
What's wrong? You need to get it together. What are we doing
really.
right now?
Looking
Right.
for the others?
I know how you feel, but sitting around being miserable isn't going to help anybody. Let's go.
Yep, true. Yeah, you're right. If I turned and headed for the door at the far end, I heaved myself up off the wall and followed. So now we're checking the middle room, presumably. Infirmary. And assuming we checked through the drink room on our way through, lounge rather, through there, then this should clear the entire top floor effectively. Music stopped. But it's showing us an empty room by and large, so... Okay... They would not have done this to each other, but a bracelet is not gone, although maybe hers is. The first thing I felt was that strange cold sweat of terror. My stomach clenched in protest, pushing a wave of bile and nausea up my throat. The lead ball turned to ice, and my legs began to tremble under its weight before they finally gave way and collapsed. They were dead. And not just dead. I could feel it in the moment. I looked at them, but I didn't want to believe it. They couldn't be dead. Perhaps they were just sleeping with their tongue out, and chained to the sink. The cool, limp feel of their skin under my shaking fingers dashed any hope I'd had left. I wrapped a trembling hand around the end of the bed and hauled myself up onto it. Even when I closed my eyes, I could still see them. My heart hammered away at my ribs, and my chest felt so tight I could barely breathe. I forced myself to take a long, deep breath, to take long, deep breaths. Finally, I opened my eyes.
They were in a blind spot. The
What?
security camera. Remember how we didn't see anything in the real-time feed in the security room?
Yeah, I guess the partition was in
Yeah.
the way. It still didn't explain how they got to that blind spot and yet didn't show up, but whatever. They're handcuffed together.
Yeah, whoever did this really didn't want them going anywhere. The chain's been looped around the pipe below the sink.
Well, no, it hasn't. Oh, well, you don't mean looped like that. Okay, yeah, whatever. They would have been trapped here when the doors closed.
Look.
Why?
See the red marks on their wrists? They were trying to get the handcuffs off.
So you're saying it wasn't one of them? Really, Sigma? Of course it
Probably
wasn't
not.
one of them. There's a cut on his left hand. Looks like it's probably from a knife or something similar. Must have been deep.
And the blood on his clothes probably came from that wound.
And the puncture.
Don't see any others, at least. If this was the only one, it doesn't look fatal. I don't think he died from this cut.
Yeah, clearly not. He died from the injection. Alright, so we did also find hers. When the primary doors closed, they couldn't get to them. The needles in their bracelets activated.
Yeah. You can see the marks on their wrists from where they were injected.
And also the
The
scratches.
tubercularine must have killed them.
Yeah, one would assume. Do you think that's why they were handcuffed to the sink?
They
Yeah,
wouldn't
to
have been
prevent
able to
them.
get through the white doors without Quark.
That's a good point. So they were stuck anyway. Who would have benefited from keeping them
Someone
here
wanted to
anyway?
use the penalty to kill them. They didn't
So it
need
wasn't
to tie them
it
up.
wasn't to kill them. It was to keep them from getting to us and telling us something that they discovered. What's
I
wrong?
take back what I just said.
You find
Yeah.
something? Phi bent down to pick something up and handed it to me. A cyan bracelet. This was Quark's. So it was both to silence them because they had found Quark and presumably something about that was incriminating, and to kill them. But then, still, how did they get a handcuff on? How did they? Unless it was K.
Correct. It has 9 BP, too. There's no mistake.
But so where did they? So finally, someone has found where Quark got off to. But the only people who knew where that was now are now dead. Obviously, they must have found it.
Your heart stops.
Yes, yes.
Hey,
Obviously,
calm
so
down.
where did they find
Just because
him?
his bracelet's off doesn't mean Quark's dead.
Not strictly,
In
but
fact, this could be good news. A ray of hope.
ray
Now,
of hope.
If Quark still had his bracelet on, then he would have
Yes,
ended up
obviously.
like Tenmyo, G,
But
and Clover.
also, if he ended up like them, that would result in his
But
bracelet
he's
being
not
off.
wearing it. That means he might have managed to avoid
Might.
getting injected with two.
Very unlikely,
Yeah.
but whatever. That's impossible. Told us to only come off when your heart stops or when you escape.
Maybe he got out then.
Right, he's got 9 BP. Escaped and came back and left his bracelet here. That's impossible too. Yep, only opens once. Even if he was able to get outside, he couldn't come back
Why
in.
do you have to be so pessimistic? Have you actually seen Quark dead? Huh? You need to think positive, Sigma. Reality.
Well, to be fair,
is what
he
we
does.
believe it to
'cause
be.
He is really starting to. He is really starting to hinder his own progress with the downer mentality. So you're saying this is what we wanted to happen?
That's enough!
Yeah.
Quark is definitely alive. He has
Sure.
to be. He has to be. I refuse to believe he isn't. I can't let an innocent kid like that get killed.
But we let an innocent kid like Clover get killed. Whatever. I wanted to ask if she meant Clover and Tenmyoji were innocent and had deserved to die, but swallowed my words. Fighting wasn't going to help us. No kidding. All I could do was hope that Phi was right. Beyond that, really need to work on bringing their killer to justice and figuring out through clues what their possession of this bracelet means. Where could they have found it?
Examining their body, Tenmyoji first. Clues.
Why? What do you mean, why?
To
Obviously,
who might have
clues.
killed them.
Sigma,
Finding
wake
Quark's
up!
bracelet
Get
tells
together!
us that if the killer saw
Good
it,
grief.
that
It
would
would
make
made for an obvious motive? Yes, obviously. Would have been able to get through the white doors, handcuff them to the
Right.
sink to prevent that,
That's
but
my
also
guess, at
likely
least.
wherever they found Quark was incriminating.
That's odd.
What's
I can't
wrong?
find anything. I
You
should
found a
have
cut.
found some. You remember when we ran into Tenmyoji in the rec room?
Yeah.
He sprayed our wrists with luminol.
Right. Although I still find it hard to believe that Dio managed to incapacitate both of them. Because you would have to incapacitate both of them to get that handcuff on them. There's no way you incapacitate, like, one of them and the other willingly does it or something.
I'm sure I saw him pull the spray bottle out of his pocket.
Yeah, so presumably he... So maybe the location of Quark's bracelet wasn't surprising. Maybe it was that somehow, yeah, he found Dio, sprayed him, discovered, and because Kay wasn't with him the way it was when we discovered him, he wasn't able to put him on lockdown. That still doesn't explain how he then incapacitated both him and Clover, and got them up here and got them chained, and still managed to be down there hidden in time. And what was he doing with Alice and Luna? Yeah, so this is a very tight timeline that doesn't make a lot of sense.
I don't know.
Killer probably had to. Well,
I'm gonna
or it
take a
was
look at
dropped
Clover,
wherever it
too.
was used last.
Give me a minute.
So wherever we find that bottle of luminol would be somewhat incriminating. Examine after a moment, saw her hand stop.
Look,
Did she find
see your
the...
thigh? Doesn't it look like there's something written there?
Did she manage to write
I'm
something
sorry,
on
I'll have
herself?
to move
Really?
you.
Must be
It
10 Miyojis.
says 016.
How does that help us in the
Hang
slightest?
on. I feel like I've seen that somewhere.
Wait, yeah, this is our second one. No. It's nothing to do with the bomb code.
0101. I know I've seen it somewhere.
Was that the code for the golem that we found?
It's no use.
Alternatively, 910?
Can't remember.
Don't get my hopes
Anyway,
up
these
like that.
numbers have to have something to do with the killer.
Yeah, I presume, but none of us are branded with 3 digits
She
or
must have
anything.
written them after she got hit with a soparil. There would have been a few minutes before she went all the way under when she could have done something.
Yeah,
I think she
but-
probably used those last minutes to tell the rest of us who'd killed her.
016, huh? Maybe the only people... Maybe, but the only people who could have done it are Kay and Dio, so that would have to determine between one of them.
No, there's also Quark.
I guess that's not
I
impossible.
mean, I'm not saying he did it.
Yeah, this is hopeless. Can't keep up anymore. Everything here is a damn mystery. What about the old woman we found? Who killed her? Woman in AB rooms makes Luna seem the most suspicious, but when would she have done it? We don't have a good explanation for why she would have wrapped the knife up in the handkerchief. And of course, now she's dead, so who would have killed her? Footage from the camera paired with Dio's behavior makes Clover seem like the most likely suspect, but now we'll never know for sure. Alice's killer is a complete mystery, although, again, I'm still suspicious that maybe hers is radical, considering she does off herself due to radical in one of the timelines, right around the time when she always ends up dying, one way or the other. We don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean. Don't have any idea where Quark's gone. What does any of this mean? Who killed everyone? Was it Zero, Zero Senior? And who is Zero Senior? What the hell does he want? Why does the game even exist? Why they... Okay, yes. Calm down. Feel my head's about to explode. Give me something. Anything. A clue, a hint. You gotta have something. Yeah, we need to meet up with
Luminol.
Kay and... Yeah, that would... Yeah,
I
finding
think
where
there's a
the
very
luminol
good
is.
chance someone took the spray bottle out of Tenmyoji's pocket.
And possibly has it now as well.
Well, let me ask
Well,
you
but
this.
also would have had it sprayed
Why
on
do
them.
you think they took it?
Yeah, obviously... Well,
What would
no.
they need to do in order to do that?
I imagine it's to hide that from anyone else.
That's it?
No, wait, you're right. Luminol reacts when it glows, but the glow is really
So?
faint, so they have to turn the lights off.
And that would mean...
That would mean... the rec room. Fi and I raced for the door. We weren't sure what we'd find, but we knew where we were going. Where we found it was the breakthrough I'd been looking for. The rec room downstairs, where we found the other luminol bottles? Yeah, because this is the lounge, so... Yeah, that's where we can find more luminol. And yeah, we know that that's where he got the luminol in the first place, but that's not the only room that you can turn dark. You can turn half the rooms in here dark. Which would expose the luminol. The bee garden. I don't know if that one actually gets dark enough for that. The room, the camera room we were in. Pretty sure there was one or two other rooms you can turn dark. I guess we're racing to try to get some more luminol, or maybe we think that this is where it happened. Which, to be fair, every other time that there's been a confrontation like this, I think it did happen in the rec room. So, yep, there's more luminol right over there. Well, only one of those is even remotely possibly self-inflicted. If we're to assume that what this is implying is that Dio's not only been impaled, but pinned to the wall, yeah, that's not self-inflicted. But if he's just slumped against after self-inflicting, but it still had to have been someone else in order to put an axe that deep into Kay's back. To get it through the armor, no less. But this late in the game, no one else was remaining to... so yeah, it has to be Radical 6 for at least several of these kills to blame. Except, obviously, to some degree, Kay. Everything in my head ground to a halt. Even after all I'd seen, a room full of corpses had a profound effect. It was such a ridiculous thought that before I could stop myself, I laughed. That laugh made me think. Was laughter in this situation a defensive response designed to protect the brain from constant emotional bombardment? They say that right before an animal dies, it feels a moment of comfort. Who's they? Right before death, the brain releases a huge amount of endorphins into the bloodstream. Pain is only a warning signal meant to help the body avoid death. But when death becomes a certainty, pain no longer has any use. In fact, that loss of pain can lead to incredible feats on the edge of death. Let's say that two species of animal come under attack from some overwhelming force. All of them are severely wounded and near death. Species A feels pain, but species B doesn't. The horrible pain felt by species A prevents them from moving, but because they feel no pain, some of species B will manage to drag their wounded bodies to safety and survive. As a result, species A is eliminated and only species B manages to survive. This process of natural selection, blah blah blah, all creatures that walk the face of the earth, center of species B, I'm no exception. Look at this room full of corpses and laugh. The genes I've... okay, yes, blah blah blah. I guess this means you and I are the only survivors.
Don't make me keep saying it. Quark's still out there somewhere.
Yeah, you're right. He is still out there, so that would mean he killed them. I mean, you said yourself there was no way there was a 10th uninvited player out there when Alice was killed. And we've also refuted the possibility of Zero Senior being the 10th person, alright? So now it is high time you bring up the Radical 6. Actually, it's probably too late, because I think in most cases, the only person who reveals to the whole group the actual workings of the Radical 6 is Luna. So with her being dead, I'm pretty sure that bringing up Radical 6 is too late to mention, but it has to have played a part here. Somewhere. There is no 10th person. The only person alive are Yumi and Quark. That means...
being ridiculous. Look at their bodies. There's an axe buried in Kay's back, and the spear
She's saying all the way through his stomach. She's not saying it's into the wall yet.
You think a child Quark's size?
No, so maybe she is implying here that, yeah, so maybe this is meant to imply... If he was on the floor, it would be so much more helpful. Though I guess why would he have gone onto the floor to do it? So yeah, probably he killed Kay and then succumbed to the Radical 6. Alright then, are you saying you killed them?
Are you insane? And just when would I have done that? I've been with you this whole time.
She was right. After the end of the second round of the AB game, fine, I hadn't been out of each other's sight. That's not true. Solve puzzles together. No, wait, he is realizing it. Don't accuse her. This is not the time. One time when I wasn't watching, the few minutes in the security office when I'd rested on the couch, could she have snuck out then, and then used her superhuman abilities to put an axe in the back of Kay? Yeah, to be fair, the rec room and the security office weren't that far away from one another, but why would she bring you here now? If the round trip took about a minute, she'd killed them in 4, then the whole thing would have only taken her 5 minutes. It was partially her idea to bring you here. 5 minutes. Just how long had I been out? No, that wasn't really right. I hadn't really been out. I just felt like everything was being fast-forwarded, probably because my mental processing speed had dropped. But how long had I been like that? Only a few seconds, but it could have been much longer. And where did something like mental processing speed dropping come from? So maybe he's thinking about the Radical Six?
Checking their bodies like before. I decided to start with Dio.
Seeing as how you're not really going to be able to find anything out about Kay.
Yeah, 2 things actually. Take a look at this.
Yeah, not only a knife, the Myrmidon knife we
Yeah.
know he has. Something engraved on the blade. Oh, not only that, the knife that was hidden, so... Ah, that's what he must have been doing. He wasn't there for Luna at all. He just noticed. He was there, that's when he retrieved the knife from Alice, which we had noticed was missing earlier. That lines up the timing. Okay, yep. Is that the name of the manufacturer? And that also confirms that it was either, that Luna was either herself due to Radical, which is also quite possible given the timing. It was either Luna herself or Clover, because Luna would not have responded okay to him. Luna had to have been dead when he got into the room and retrieved the knife, because there's no way Luna would have just let that happen without making a fuss, in which case, scuffle, and she would have had knife wounds on her. So she was definitely already dead by that point.
Dunno. It's not a name I've ever heard of before. But look at the handle. You've seen it before, right?
Yeah, okay, so they're putting together what I just put together for you. So.
Right.
Move along.
From the looks of it, I guess they'd say it's
Uh-huh.
wound cavity, 150 millimeters. Wound length, 30 millimeters.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, when Luna scanned the old woman's body, those were the numbers it gave us for the wound, which means, yeah, the same knife was used to kill
right.
both, which
Well,
doesn't tell us anything
wound
yet.
length and wound width. In other words,
Yeah, this is the
right.
blade that killed the woman, which again we had already figured out. Okay, so they're piecing together the knife that was used to kill Alice was the same knife she was using to accuse someone, which she couldn't have been accusing. Oh, right, she wouldn't have been accusing Dio.
Well, I was just eyeballing those measurements.
Which almost certainly
so we
means that
can't
it
be
was
sure.
Radical 6, because the only person that... because we've pieced together that the person that Alice thought was the one who had used the knife would have been Luna. The only person she would have possibly been trying to accuse was Luna. And if she'd been trying to accuse Dio, because if she had suspected at all, Dio would not have left the knife in her, which is what we had discovered. So that definitely means... and we know that Luna wouldn't have killed her. So that means that it had to have been that she succumbed to Radical 6 around that time, and that's why in only that one timeline did she need to obtain the knife, because in that one timeline she found the scalpel. In all these others she didn't need the scalpel because she finds the knife there. Why does Dio have it? Yep, got it from Alice. They're piecing it. Why'd he take it? And now we even know when. Maybe he was the one who
That
killed
would
Alice.
match up with what we saw.
But then why wouldn't he... yeah, no, wait, hold on a second. I'm getting confused here. Okay, so maybe I'm mistaken. But why would she have been accusing him? Because everything we've pieced together so far indicates that she thought it was Luna. So why would she have been even confiding in Dio, much less anything? And why would he have used it to kill her, but not taken it then? To hide it? Alice would have had the knife first, right? Yep, picked it up when she found it wrapped in the handkerchief.
Right.
Uh-huh. So Dio took it from her and stabbed her? If that's what happened, why didn't he just take the knife then? Why leave it for us to see, then come back and get it?
Well, we can look into that more. First, I want you to have a look at
so
something
it's almost
else.
certainly Radical 6 at that point.
Don't you remember what I said? I found 2 things. There was the nut. This.
The key? What does that have to...
What do you mean, that key?
Found it in the Golem Bay. Didn't have an idea what it was for then. Alice said it might be important, so she'd hang on to it just in case.
So, Alice should have had this, right?
Yeah, which means that it was also taken by, Dio.
And now Dio's got it.
So, maybe he wasn't even there for the knife. Maybe he was there for this, and then just also happened to grab the knife?
So when Dio took the knife, he also took Kay's key.
Wait, Kay's key?
Oh man, you couldn't figure it out from the shape? Get
What do you
over
mean?
here. A picture's worth 1,000 words. Let me show you.
She walked over to Kay's head, knelt down on one knee, and pointed to the back of it.
You remember this, right?
Oh yeah, so that's it. It unlocks
Yeah,
the suit.
let's give it a shot.
Before I had time to prepare myself, shoved the key into the slot and twisted. But... So no, it's not his key.
It's no good. Can't get it open.
Why not?
Maybe the suit is powered, and it needs to be on in order to open. But with this
Or maybe
axe
it's
in
not
here-
actually the correct key. You're saying it shorted the suit out or
I
something?
think so.
Because I think we saw.
At any rate,
I think we
the key
saw
fits
a
perfectly.
thing like that in the bee garden as well.
I don't have any doubt it's for removing Kay's suit.
Well, maybe it is also for that. Do you think Dio knew that when he took it?
I wonder.
If he did, he still killed him despite the suit anyway. But whatever. So I guess we'll never know what his face really looks
Yeah,
like.
no way we can get that mask off with our bare hands.
Wonder who
Well,
he
we
was.
still haven't checked him over. Let's have a look. Maybe we'll find something that...
Unlikely, other than the axe in his back. Stopped and pulled something out of his robes. Look, what is it?
A spray bottle with
Luminol.
luminol in it.
When would Kay have had that opportunity? That would explain why he, regardless... Why would Kay have done this, though? Why would Kay have locked them together? But if he knew that they were locked together and weren't going to be arriving, but then why did he bother putting us through? Because he didn't want to be alone with Dio?
Yeah.
Tenmyoji had... Does that mean Kay was the one who handcuffed
We
him to
don't
the
know
seat?
yet.
No, we
Kay
don't.
might have
but-
taken the spray from Tenmyoji after he died. It's possible he made it through the white doors before we did, went to the infirmary and got this.
Why wouldn't Dio have been with him at the time?
Anyway, there's something I want to see.
Also, again, like I had said actually earlier, if Dio had made it out of the white rooms before us, why wouldn't his first objective have been to head straight to the AB rooms to start them opening? Because he's already shown in several timelines that's his priority one.
Turn off the lights.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah. If Kay used the spray before he died...
Well, not
it's
just
okay.
Kay.
If he
Likely is
didn't
not
spray it, there won't be
Tenmyoji
a
already
reaction
on
from
the-
any of it. Come on. Alright.
Yeah, already on Dio's bracelet, undoubtedly. Tenmyoji checking Dio's bracelet the way that we checked it the one time is almost certainly what got Dio to freak out and somehow incapacitate those two and chain them, and I don't know. It's confusing.
Just as I thought. Look, Dio's left wrist.
Yep. Underside of his bracelet is
Exactly.
glowing.
Because
But
there
why?
are traces of... We've seen
Whose
5
blood?
people with serious bleeding.
Ah, but she won't know the secret hint that this is actually the bracelet that belongs to the woman because we haven't checked that out in this route.
The old woman, Alice, Tenmyoji, and these two here. I'm disinclined to think this is Dio or Kay's blood, though. See? If you look, it's been wiped off. Except for the luminol, the bracelet looks clean. Why would someone wipe blood off a bracelet after being hit with an axe or stabbed with a spear, and then spray it with luminol? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so she's coming to that fact. Alright, so she's not likely going to figure out this is the old woman's bracelet, but she is going to come to the conclusion that
Right.
he's the one who killed, well, at least one, if not all of them.
Can I see the other side of your bracelet, please?
Yep.
Just
Tenmyoji checked ours, had figured out one of the bracelets
That
would
would
have
have
blood on
meant
it,
he was looking for either Alice's blood or the old woman's.
and we know that he has a much closer connection to the old woman than to Alice.
No idea. But whatever the case,
Yeah,
Tenmyoji
this is because
seemed
we
to
hadn't
think that
checked
whoever
her
had
wrist
this
to find out that,
bracelet
oh,
was
she had a
Zero
bracelet
Senior.
previously. But I seem to think that whoever had the bracelet was Zero
just
Senior.
relax. That's all I needed to know. Neither
Yeah, so
one
he
of you
knows.
is...
Are you saying that because there was...
Yeah.
Yep. And then he presumably went and checked. Are you saying Dio is Zero
I don't
Senior?
know.
If he is,
the
he's
only thing I
dead
can
now.
say for sure is that there's a possibility that Dio killed the other 6 victims.
Which is only really being considered because she's not aware that several of them likely died from Radical 6. And we're probably next. Yeah, then who killed Dio?
After he was attacked, he used the
That's
last of his strength.
possible.
Huh?
Whatever, yeah, that was stupid. I guess the positioning is kind of right, although... Whatever.
All of this would be over. This awful game would be
Not truly, because I don't know that we can get out of here now on our own.
An ambidex gate has been opened.
So either Quark is indeed alive, which is fascinating that he survived this long, since usually he is way under the effects of Radical 6 by this point. Or it's the stupid rabbit trying to mess with us
45
again.
minutes remain.
Yeah, what? What's happening? That's impossible. Quark opened a gate.
whatever. We need to get back to the
All Quark would
4A
need to do would be
warehouse.
get his bracelet back, and he could leave, though. So
Hurry.
it doesn't really make a lot of sense that it's Quark. It's probably the rabbit. Trying to force us to keep playing the game, because until everyone's dead or the game has been finished, he's obviously wanting the game to just keep being played and played and played. And technically, I think we don't invoke a time limit now at this point. Because the gates have to be manually opened to start their time limit, I think that there's no actual time limits until one of them is open. So I think this is him forcing the issue. Well, or maybe Quark's alive, but then even if he is, what would he be doing this for? To get his bracelet back, but how hadn't he already gotten it back? It was on the floor in that other room, and he should be absolutely, completely crazy from Radical 6 at this point. No one here? Did they run
Why
off?
would they run away?
Hell if I know. Well, he opened an AB gate anyway. Without a star key, you shouldn't have been able to get it
He
open.
must have taken one from Dio or K before we got to the rec room.
Sure,
We know they
possibly.
went through a white door. Remember? We saw the footage in the security office. That means they had a star key just like we did.
Sure. You didn't find one when you searched them?
Right.
Well, maybe Quark's a suspect after all then. Shouldn't write him off just because he's a kid. Maybe he knows how to use a lance
That's
or an axe.
impossible. You're being an idiot. It's much more likely he found the key card after they died.
But that still doesn't explain how he got out of the bracelet, why he didn't take the bracelet, I don't know. And did we claim the bracelet, or is it actually still in that room, in which case maybe he's already grabbed it. But then, again, like super duper, why would he bother opening the AB gate?
Any ideas where to look?
Nothing. How on earth would I know where he might be?
Well, there's one place I'd like to check out. Come on.
Alright, somewhere on the bottom floor, I presume. Well, or maybe the infirmary, I guess. No, yeah, we're on the bottom floor. So where? Is she thinking where Dio's? Or maybe the third room, I guess? Oh, no.
Right. Aren't you curious?
Sure. Besides,
Yeah.
Quark might be there, I guess. Maybe. Actually, at this point, presumably that third white chromatic might be open as well. Director's office.
Probably belongs to the director.
Thanks, Vi.
Chairs? And that? Well, there could be any...
Yeah, moving
That would
on.
make things... We'd settle things right now. You don't need to
open
keep...
it. Alright. What's behind this? Yes. Alright. Curious. Letters all over the room. Lions swallowing the sun again.
There's no one here.
Computer's been
Yeah,
turned on.
maybe Dio and Kay did...
Presumably as part of completing their
A lion. A
biting.
sun.
Yeah, but we saw that imagery in the previous room too as well. ID
We
and a
probably
password.
can't use it unless we know what those are.
Why
Sure,
don't you put
we'll
something
give it
in?
a shot.
Alright. Let's try and brute force. Of
Yeah,
course not.
might as well forget about this thing for now. We can't
Unless
get
we're
anywhere
gonna do
without
this
a
room's
password.
puzzle as well.
See if we can find any other clues. This is the director's office after all. If we turn the place upside down, we're bound to find something. Shall we?
Maybe. Zero's been pretty clean about all this so far. Felt compelled to stay, found myself staring at the screen. And biting the sun. Yeah, but if it ate the sun, remember death. Right, and the 9th was misspelled. Could this be the 9th lion? Then, maybe. going on here? This is the wrong death. How's he remembering that one? This is K without an X on his back. Oh, what's going on? And yeah, I think he's remembering different Alice's at this point too. I beg your pardon. Well, we're actually going to go ahead and leave this here for now. Time's been kind of going on pretty long, and I honestly have no idea what it's looking for. So, thanks for watching, and we will catch you next time.